Hi there, I'm Gary. I'm an ordinary bloke doing stuff. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Now, today I want to talk to you briefly about this little beauty, the Airfix kit of the Mary Rose. Now, it has just been released by Airfix as a starter set with paints and brushes and so forth. This is exactly the same but a slightly different box to one that was available at the end of last year. So in order to build one of these, all you need to do is watch this video. We'll have a little bit of history on the ship itself, then what you get inside the box, and then how to make it, and a few tips to make it look just that little bit more special. All of these things are available as chapters in the video, so you can just sort of hop backwards and forwards to see what you want at the time. Okay, so why don't we make a start? Mary Rose was a carrack, a type of fighting ship in Henry VIII's navy. Launched in 1511, it served for 34 years before sinking during the Battle of the Solent off Portsmouth in southern England in 1545. Turning about to enable both sides of the guns to fire, she listed too far and water entered through open gun ports and she capsized. Of the 500 or so men on board, only 35 survived. The wreck was raised in 1982 and is now preserved in a purpose-built museum. This model of the Mary Rose is a starter set, so it comes with glue, paints and a paintbrush. I'm going to make the kit using just these things, apart from two little tweaks that I'll explain later. Otherwise, this is a skill level 1 kit, so it can be made by anyone. It also comes with one flying hour. Either collect these as a member of the Airfix Club toward a free kit, or you can donate them to Models for Heroes. Details on this are in the comments box below. If you're new to model making, you might also want to check out my 10 top tips video, which you can find on my channel. Anyway, let's see what comes in the box. The box opens at one end and we can pour all the contents out. The first thing is this plastic bag containing all the parts. There are 3 sprues of grey plastic, one for the hull and the foresail, one for the mainsail and the masts, and the other for the rest of the parts. You can see the detail in the mouldings, such as the cannon barrels on the main deck. Next is a smaller bag which contains the paints. We have a wooden brown, a cream linen colour for the sails, white and gunmetal for the guns. We also have a Humbrol No. 2 general purpose brush. Then we have the instructions. There are 3 pages of warnings in various languages against various things and 2 pages of actual instructions. We also have a decal sheet. These are all the side decorations for the ship and the nameplates for the stand. And we also have 2 flags on self-adhesive paper. So that's a quite comprehensive set of stuff. Let's get building. Now remember, try to remove the parts carefully from the sprues, preferably using side cutters, otherwise a sharp craft knife. Use sanding sticks to remove any extra bits of plastic from the parts. You can buy these, make your own, or use nail files. So the first bits to go on are these facing pieces for the forecastle and the stern castle on the top deck moulding. Next to these 2 small pieces that have guns that face forward through holes in the stern castle walls. With those in place, I can glue the main deck with its great guns into the starboard side of the hull, and then the assembled top deck as well. That done, I can add the port side of the hull and the ship takes shape. Finally a stern piece and the hull is complete. While all of that is drying, I'll make the stand. Now the pieces for the stand can only go in one way round thanks to these different shaped tabs. They fit simply into the decorative base and a crossbar is fitted to provide strength. With the whole pieces set, I'm going to do some painting. Now remember to mix the paints well before use with a small stick, say a toothpick or a cocktail stick, and these are water soluble. The paint is quite thick as this helps it stick to the surface. If it looks like it isn't sticking, just brush over it a few times and it will. Use long strokes at first, then smaller cross strokes to help reduce the brush marks, then a final gentle brush along the hull. Any variation that is left gives a slight wood pattern effect. The same technique applies to the sails. Don't put too much on at once and be prepared to do 2 or 3 coats. For the last coat, try drawing the brush away from the corners to give the impression of a sail under stress. While the paint on the sails is drying, I can start on some of the decals. There are quite a lot of these and they can be fiddly, so take your time. Having soaked the decal in a dish of water, I use a pair of tweezers to hold the support paper and guide the decal into place with a wet brush. Now my first extra tweak using something not supplies is that I'm using a very dilute solution of a black paint as a wash to bring out some detail. Any black acrylic paint will do, but do dilute it well. The paint will naturally sit in corners and crevices such as gun ports and in the crosswork on the top deck to really bring them out. Back to the sails now, and I'm using some of the colours that came with the kit to add a bit more detail. And I've mixed a bit of the sail cream with some white to add some highlight to the sails. These show up these stretch marks in the corners as well as the panel joints in the sails. Be as bold or subtle as you like. The farther away you're going to be looking at it, the bolder the colour difference needs to be. And remember that wherever there are highlights there must also be shadows. Add a little of the wooden brown to the sail cream for this. Remember, these details are only there if you want to do them. It's your kit, it's your decision. If you don't like the effect, you can always paint over it again later on. The next thing for me to do is assemble the masts. These have crow's nest observation posts on them that are glued into place. There are 4 masts and the bowsprit. I use blue tack and a bit of wood to support all of these while they dry. This gives me time to put some more decals on now, and the longer ones on the side are, I should say, prone to breaking, but keep calm, just apply one portion at a time, and it's relatively easy to get them back together with gentle encouragement by the brush. With the masts all set up, I can add them to the sails. Each piece is notched to make sure of alignment. The other little tweak I've done here is paint the stand in a mahogany colour I had lying around from another build, but you can use the kit brown if you like, or even spray it with another colour, it's up to you. Anyway, at this point I'm adding the nameplates, which are decals, and then I'll put the ship on the stand. With the ship stable I can paint the guns with the gunmetal colour provided. You can also pick out the anchors as well. Then I'm ready to fit the masts, starting with the foremast, then the mainmast, the mizzen, and finally the second mizzen or the Bonaventure mast. Then there's the bowsprit at the sharp end and the jackstaff at the blunt end, and the build is essentially complete. The last job is to attach the pennant to the masts. I attach the ends of the pennant first and then slip over the last loop over the top of the mast and press it into place. There's also a royal standard on the foremast which is fitted in the same way. And so there we have it, a rather nice model of the Mary Rose with really not a lot of effort. I think it looks very smart, and it's a great introduction to ship models for anyone at any age. So if you've enjoyed the video, please do remember to like it below, and also remember to subscribe to my channel to see other builds and new projects as they're completed. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.